Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. You know, we are still in the middle of nothingness, okay? We are literally antimatter right now until the 20th of the month. But today is already the 3rd, so we're 17 days away from the Cowboy players reporting. And it may end up being that, Dak Prescott doesn't always go with the team charter. A lot of times Dak Prescott gets there early. Maybe Micah Parsons gets there early since he's already got his room and stuff, for his family and things. Gets there, maybe has a day or two where they go out and enjoy the beach and the sights and stuff, and relax before the storm happens. So everybody is scrambling trying to get something. You got your Colin Cow turds that are saying that Brian Schottenheimer will be one and done, that Micah Parsons is worthless and shouldn't get paid, and yada, yada, yada. You've got TJ Watt, who's an aging edge rusher who's looking to break the bank and be the highest paid. And you've got that. And, of course, you've got a few trades. Miami is seemingly, as well as Pittsburgh, all in to try and do something. Here's an interesting one for you. Mike Tomlin, in the time that Dak Prescott has been in the NFL, they've made the playoffs multiple times, but they don't have any playoff wins. I know that's we always talk about how Dak has had lack of playoff production and things, and we need to get rid of him. And I know Mike Tomlin has a Super Bowl ring, but in recent history, it's just not been able to get over the hump. And I almost believe that might be a situation where Mike Tomlin needs to go the Andy Reid route and go someplace else. Because what happens after a while, you start to get stale, people start checking out, and you need a new perspective and a new challenges to really refocus. And I think that's where they are with Mike Tomlin. I think we were there with Jason Garrett after about 5 years, and we should have gotten rid of him then, but we kept hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. Make the playoffs, losing the playoffs, next year, miss the playoffs, and it's just bad. But what seems to be going on, first of all, we got Eagle fans who are talking out of both sides of their neck. First of all, you end up hearing, like my boy Philly 500, future Eagle Micah Parsons, right? They don't talk about any other player on the Cowboys other than Micah Parsons being a future. That house is built in 1740, Walnut Grove. That house guy is 74 years old, and he's rebuilding the house by himself. So I look at it and say, I can't get tired. He's 15 years older than me, and he's working by himself on that one. All right, sorry, I digress. But everybody's looking to blame Dak Prescott or, for playoff stuff or, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself with the Micah Parsons situation. So, we got Philly 500 always talking about, he's going to come to the Eagles, Lord Brunson was kind of going with Rome back and forth on Twitter about it. He of course saying we don't need Micah Parsons, we want a Super Bowl without him, and okay, all right, that's cool. I hear what you're saying, but if Micah Parsons were available to come to the Eagles, I can guarantee you 100% of the people would want him. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and you guys can shade him as much as you like, but the thing is, and in retrospect, for Micah Parsons to be successful, you have to complement what he does. You have to understand that I have a guy who can get to the quarterback with regularity from almost anywhere on the field. What do I do to maximize that ability? That's what you have to do, as opposed to saying, hey, we got Micah Parsons to get to the quarterback, we're good. And this is where the Cowboys' big failing is. They get satisfied, or they can get content with what they have, as opposed to saying, I want more. Micah Parsons is an incredible athlete, incredible edge rusher. But if you're going to look and say that he is going to be a panacea, he's going to cure every problem that we have, including making up for interior defensive linemen, as well as being able to rush from the outside, as well as the inside, and stop the run, and also play linebacker. I keep being reminded of what Jesse Holley said, that Micah Parsons, it blew my mind when he basically said that Micah Parsons doesn't want to be an elite linebacker. He only wants to be an edge rusher. The fact that you got a guy who's elite at one position to then turn around and say, well, I need you to play two elite. There's subtleties to every position. And ultimately, you want to be able to focus on doing one thing extremely well. And that's where the Cowboys' failing is, and it's the same failing forever. Interior defensive line. Now, they have tried, the Quentin Bohannons, the John Ridgeways, the Mozzie Smiths and things, or, even going the veteran routes with the Carlos Watkins. But you got to understand, you look at the Eagles, what they got on the interior of that line. You look at Kansas City, what they've got in there, and we basically have chopped liver. And those guys make everybody else around them better. They don't get all the glory. But for the edge rushers, for a guy like Micah Parsons, it will make him that much better. It will make the linebackers that much better because the guards aren't able to get off to the second level as easy. It's great for the cornerbacks and the safeties because now you're requiring double teams in the middle and you're getting to the quarterback faster because you're getting a little push. You ain't got to get there. But if you can push 2 yards upfield so he can't step in, then that's how you maximize Micah Parsons. Because Micah Parsons, a lot of times, he'll get run past the wash. He'll get washed out. Quarterback takes a step or two forward, and he misses. Well, that's where you get a guy who can push the pocket in the middle. Micah's got 20 sacks. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just kidding. The next thing. We, as Cowboy fans, don't recognize when we have great things that are happening in front of us. CeeDee Lamb is on pace for 500 receptions already in his career. The amazing thing is, if he gets that 500 receptions this year, he'll join guys like Randy Moss, Randy Fitzgerald, players like that, because there's only 5 guys, or he'll be the 5th, that have had 500 receptions by the age of 26. That's insane. Now, on the flip side of that, here's the other parts you got to look at too. The guy who's throwing to him doing a pretty good job of getting the ball to him. That connection, without one or the other, Dak's numbers aren't as good without CD, and CD's Lamb's numbers, as we saw with Cooper Rush, aren't the same. And so that combination, the longer you keep those together, the sooner those records are going to fall. And speaking of records, Dak Prescott, he gets about 3,600 yards passing this year, which would be a lot if you were Jalen Hurts, but that's not a lot if you're Dak Prescott. Will have the Dallas Cowboys yardage passing record. If he gets 40 TDs, he will have the Dallas Cowboys all-time touchdown record. Unfortunately, interceptions-wise, he's not the leader. He's all the way down at 5. Trivia question. Who's number 1 at throwing interceptions, has had the most interceptions as a Cowboy quarterback? I'll wait. It might surprise you. Give up. Troy Aikman. By a lot. So that's where we are. We got George Pickens. Oh, and George Pickens. George Pickens kind of threw a little bit of shade back at the Steelers. Now, for the most part, George Pickens has taken the high road of this trade, this move, and everything else, even being bashed by this youth camp that he ended up backing out of. He's taken the high road for the most part, with the exception of he ended up tweeting towards Micah Fitzpatrick and basically saying, congratulations on getting out and getting a fresh start. Yeah. So I just hope that the Cowboys get themselves together and have a great season. That's all I just want a great season. Did I pass my turn? Nope, there's the guy. They've been building this boat over here forever. They've been working on this boat forever. I'm out in the country. I got to get a truckload of gravel so we can get packed it, because we're doing some work at the red brick house, and I got to put some gravel in a couple other places too. And yeah, got work to do, and I'm trying to get out ahead of the heat each morning. So I woke up this morning. I woke up at 3:57 and could not go back to sleep. And so I've been up since, or I finally got out of bed at 6. So you'll probably see me yawn quite a bit today, but I'm going to keep on busting ass. Alrighty, good people, as always, you know I appreciate you, and I will see you guys back in the man cave. Peace.